Affirmative Reaction Podcast. 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 Affirmative Reaction Podcast.
Welcome back to the Affirmative Reaction Podcast. Once again, this is the Affirmative Reaction Podcast, where we're anti-woke, anti-racist, anti-snowflake, anti-soy boy, anti-beta, and we're not sexist, so you can be a beta female too.
Oh yeah, I see them all the time.
So this is the Affirmative Reaction Podcast. And for those who are new and are anticipating this, we start this program off with affirmative. No, what is it called? Wait, play the jingle.
Headline reactions.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Quickly.
Kind of forgot our format.
Headline reactions. What is headline reactions, you ask? Well, we have up some popular news sites, and we're gonna read off some headlines here and see if we will be clickbaited into reading them. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't like being clickbaited, but sometimes you can't help yourself. Sometimes a headline is just almost too ridiculous or too good to be true. Before we jump into the headline reactions, I was baited into something a couple weeks ago that we need to follow up on. And I don't want to say that it was a quasi hoax. I certainly hope not, but somebody posted an assignment that they said their child had. And,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I spent at least 5 days in a row saying, "Hey, you can update
Again,
you can
for update. But this assignment was racist, racially insensitive, or whatever. I'm not sure how you categorize it, but it was bad. It was like you were supposed to be a European colony, a European nation, and you were drafting an African nation to basically colonize it and use the people, whatever. But it was just too good to be true. They posted an assignment that their high school age child had, and this assignment was like, and you were a European country, and you were to draft an African nation, like if you were some kind of sports team, to basically exploit the colony. And it was like, research the best nation based on like how much commodities you could get, the economic system, the people, the land, and stuff like that. Basically, like a list of attributes as if you were scouting somebody for a draft. And I was like, wow, it's bad. But because, I'm just like naturally anti-woke or whatever, I was like, wait a minute. This is almost like perfect racist stuff. Like, it's too good to be true. And it just so happened that the NFL draft was that day. So anyway, I comment like, this is bad. I hope it's real. Or whatever. Not like I hope it's real, but I hope it's not fake. You see too many of these is going around or whatever, and I got bombarded with what? This is a black teacher, a black mom. This is her black experience.
A professor that would
black experience.
Be very capable of creating something like that.
A professor, a college professor nonetheless. But like my man said, it was about 4 or 5, probably like 5 or 6 days where people were still commenting on it like, this is messed up. And we were like, in the update? Like, update? What happened? Like, who is this teacher? What's the name? What happened? Cause if it's, so the people that are the anti-wokers or whatever, that's like anti this critical race theory, whenever they get upset about some stuff, they go on Fox News and they name the teacher, They named the school. They named the assignment they did. They was like, I had to denounce my whiteness, and I'm only 13 years old, and I had to go home and tell my mom. And they go on, and then they go on the Blaze and do the same thing. And I'm like, something of this nature, like, if something is just like a whiff of something being racist, it should be national news. Like when Bubba Wallace said he found a noose in his garage, the FBI investigated it immediately. It found that it was just a rope that you used to pull the garage down. That been in there for months.
You can't see it, but I'm putting my hand over my face when he's talking about this stuff.
So that's why I was like, wait a minute. Like, I know this is bad. It's just too good to be true. But like I said, I was baited because I usually might see something like that and be like, oh.
Well, the worst part about it for me was I commented a few times like, hey, does anybody else care in here what the source of this about, and maybe what the name of the school is,
exactly,
or the teacher,
at least, yeah.
And 98% of people were like, "What are you talking about? This is racist." Nobody else agreed with me except like 2 or 3 comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really want to know what this is from too.
Like, I don't think,
but there was like a plethora of people, 600 something
hundreds
comments.
of comments.
Like, this is terrible.
This is terrible. This is racist. I'm sorry you had to go. I'm sorry
colonialism, all this stuff.
I'm sorry your black self had to go through this black experience and white. I'm like, get out of here.
It seems like a setup, and
I think so. And I'll say this: the only comment that the actual person responded to was mine.
Right.
And they just was like, I'm a professor. I'm a black woman, and I don't have time to.
Well, that must mean it's true.
They was like, I said something about race baiting, right? It was like, I'm a professor. I teach African American studies. I was like, oh, so you teach race? I was like, so you teach race baiting?
So this is your assignment. Who else would write that? Who else could write that?
Right. I don't know. Maybe we'll see an update. But
probably not.
Moving on to these headline reactions here, and again, if you are new to this program, which I hopefully you are a new listener, and thank you for listening, and to our other faithful listeners, welcome back. But headline reactions is
headline reactions.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Funnier than we are sometimes.
A little bit. So we're going to see if some of these headlines on a popular news site will bait us into reading it. Sometimes it baits because it's just ridiculous. Sometimes it's bait because it's like, well, that's interesting. You usually don't get much, to me, you usually don't get much of that on Clinton News Network or Clown News Network or, I'm not going to say that.
You said enough.
CNN here.
This one almost baited me.
What's that one? This guy?
No, I lost it. I think it was up.
Uh-oh.
No, here it is. Risk of dying from COVID 40 times. I was like, there's a COVID 40? No, it's COVID 40 times the risk of rare blah, blah, blah. So I read it as COVID 40 instead of COVID 19.
Risk of dying from COVID 40 times the risk of. That's clever.
They tried to do. There's no punctuation.
Right. That's how if it was a punctuation, that's COVID 40. But it meant COVID 40 times.
I was like, is that the Indian version or what is this?
Something's not right. See tense confrontation between CNN crew and soldiers. No, Colonial Pipeline launches restart after 6-day shutdown.
How to avoid COVID? Places of worship.
Wow, that's number 1. Summer camp, visiting family, dining out, hotels, pool. So basically everything that you do when you're not at work. That's literally.
It didn't have movies though. They want us to go watch movies because the Oscars was the worst,
of course,
ratings of all time.
And then it don't say not going to movie theaters.
Exactly.
How to avoid COVID. Number 1 is places of worship.
That's telling.
A little bit. I'm trying not to like read too much into it, But why would places of worship be number
It's not
one?
alphabetical.
No. Why would you visiting family? But we got the vaccine. People got the vaccine.
A lot of us do.
100 million people has been vaccinated. And who knows how many people has got, well, they, CNN got the ticker, but I'm pretty sure more people have been had
Places
it than that.
of worship. That's crazy.
Damn, that's kind of bad, man. That's interesting. At how to avoid COVID.
In big red letters.
Places of worship, summer camps.
Does it have if you click, does it have a separate link for each one? Yeah, it does.
It does.
So if you hit places of worship, what is it?
Is it safe to go to church?
April 10th. There's some old ass link.
Yeah, it is. Damn, they don't want you to go to church.
Now,
How about not rioting? Nothing is really baited. I don't know. We kind of got baited with the COVID thing. That was interesting. So let's go to Fox News.
All that's deliberate. They put there for a reason.
Oh, wait. Here go one. Cosby star named Dean of Fine Arts at HBCU. Is that supposed to be like...
Which one, Rudy?
Let's see who.
They baited me. I was like, which Cosby star is it?
Phylicia Rashad.
Well, which one is that?
The mom. Dude, I had the biggest crush on Phylicia Rashad, dude.
She had big ones, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
She still look good.
Indeed. Yes, she is. She's like 100.
I mean...
Oh, yeah. She graduated from
Atlanta.
She graduated from Howard.
That's one of those traditional black colleges.
That's where Thomas Sowell went. That's where he got
Really?
his undergrad before he went to
What state is that?
the D.C. area.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's where he went before he went to Harvard.
I'd always heard of the traditional black colleges from football.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't really know where each one of them is.
There's a lot of them that people just know the main ones.
Like Grambling.
Yeah, they know Grambling, Howard, Southern,
Alabama
Louisiana,
State.
Alabama State, but like you got Alcorn State. You got there's a couple in Georgia. There's a couple in Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Right.
One of our OG snowflakes, Sean King, he went to Morehouse to study African American studies.
Oof. He got that full ride on being a white minority.
Probably so. So Fox News here. Ohio announces lottery for vaccinated citizens with eye-popping sum.
Almost. What was
Look.
eye popping though? Like 500? It's Ohio.
Dude, McDonald's, I forgot where it was. I think it was a McDonald's in Florida. No, not in Florida, somewhere else. But they saying that they paying people $50 to come take the interview. Just because they having that hard of a time hiring people.
I heard Chipotle is like making the minimum wage $15 an hour. And then their management positions that normally would take 3 to 5 years, they're cutting it down to 3 years minimum.
Yeah.
To become the manager of Chipotle.
Oh, this is some sad news. I'm not going to click on it, though.
Ellen show's ending? Is that sad?
Florida woman followed home, killed in driveway during botched carjacking. And then the one below it. Stop the Asian hate. New York woman arrested after striking Asian woman with hammer.
Oh, they finally found her. That's been out for a few weeks now.
Really?
Yeah.
Where have I been, dude?
I don't know, but the black lady hit the Asian like it's typical, but nobody says that.
No, of course not. Of course
All
not.
they talk about is that one incel that killed all those Asians in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But then all these videos that come out is black people hitting on the Asians.
Dude, we covered that.
Yeah, of course we did.
This was a couple months ago, dude, where we was talking about if you've been paying attention to this, which we pretty sure people haven't or don't care, and I lean toward the latter, people don't care. Black guys. We watched a video of 3 black guys. They literally walked in the laundromat and one drop kicked the Asian man just sitting there.
Right. But then I got to thinking about it, like, if you work a 9 to 5, which I understand COVID is a little different, but the way this is set up, if you're a fan of CNN, you work your 9 to 5, you come home, you watch the news for an hour, right? Before dinner or after dinner. So you got 1 hour. You got 1 hour to put a couple pieces on, and they selectively put.
Or you scrolling your social media throughout the day, and you just see like a clip that just say Asian attacked.
Right. Then I got to show the black lady with the hammer.
Right. Just say New York woman.
Right. Not even a capital W. So does that mean that's a trans or? So
yeah, it say New York woman. Everything else, the only thing that gets the race of both parties involved is when a white cop shoots a black person. That's it.
Or if that was a white woman with a hammer
hitting a black person.
No, but hitting an Asian.
It wouldn't have said white.
Maybe. I don't know.
It wouldn't even have been no headline. Nothing else on Fox News. I seen this story earlier.
I seen the cop or the off-duty cop.
A tiger broke loose, in Houston, and the owner just came out and got it. Like, oh, hey,
he was a wanted murderer or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
look into it. He wanted for murder. He fled when the cops left. He put the tiger in his car and he left.
Oh, wow. All right, let's do one more site. We got Vox. Now, if anybody don't know what Vox is like ultra snowflake, ultra woke, it is like, I mean, diversity, inclusion, whatever woke term.
No, equity. That's my favorite one.
Nobody.
We need to define. We need to on this podcast define the difference.
Define equity
between equality and equity, because there is a difference according to these people.
Yeah, especially like people on Vox. So one of the first headlines I see: from diverse enclaves to the suburbs, there are many Asian Americans. Okay.
In other news, water is wet.
That's a lot. There's many Asian Americans.
That is true.
It's many.
There's a lot. I mean, I don't know where you live, but I know where you live, but people listening, if you live in rural, I cannot say that word,
rural
Mississippi, you might not believe that there are many Asian Americans, but there are.
Mm-hmm. What else we got here on Vox? Their biggest headline.
Myanmar.
Used
to be called Burma.
Yeah. The coup is uniting a country riven by ethnic divisions. Will it last?
Riven? I've never heard that word. Riven.
It's an older word.
I've heard riveted.
Riven.
Riven? No, is it?
Is it riven or riven? Let's see what Google says. We gotta hear it. Riven or riven?
I got you, baby. I got you.
Vox.
Rive. Oh, you moron. I said riven. Here, why'd you say rive? What is rive? Oh, maybe riven is the past tense of rive. Split or tear apart violently.
A country riven by ethnic divisions.
So according to rive, it would be riven.
Mm. So I was wrong.
Couldn't you just say split? I mean, for God's sake. I don't like the word split. I'm going to put riven.
Liz Cheney's doomed principled stand.
That picture is so unattractive.
All right, so this might not be a popular thing given that I'm a BIPOC.
What is this? Colonial pipe? Is that what it's called? The Colonial Pipeline?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really called that?
Yes, it's on the East Coast. It goes from... It just go through like...
Well, I just always hear the BIPOCs and talk about colonial white people and...
It like hits like most of all the original 13 colonies.
I didn't know if they named it something because white people made it colonial and... You know? Because I always hear that from the BLM, the colonial white people.
BLM. Dude, on a completely unrelated note, I had a BLT the other day, right? And I told one of my coworkers that I had a BLT with extra mayonnaise. And he said,
From where?
No, he said, oh, you had a BLMT. From the bowling alley diner, though. Right?
Did you get a BLT minus the tomato and extra mayonnaise? Would that be a BLM? Go up in there and ask, hey, can I get a BLM? You mean a BLT? No.
No,
I want BLT minus the tomato.
I want a BLM.
Oh, you want it burnt?
Affirmative Reaction Podcast.
We got some sports. Some sports. Oh, shit.
That wasn't my fault. Honestly. These clips just aren't made for these microphones. There we go.
These clips ain't made for talking. Tim Tebow is
Touchdown Jesus.
making news.
Put them Bible verses under your eyes.
So we had this article here from CBS Sports. Jaguars to sign former NFL QB Tim Tebow to a 1-year deal to play tight end in Jacksonville. Now, before we dig into this article a little bit, this news caught my attention because one of the first reactions I seen to it was somebody saying, well, wait a minute. How is Tim Tebow get a shot in the NFL, but Colin Kaepernick don't get another shot in the NFL? And I said, I'll tell you exactly why. Because Kaepernick, I don't want to use the term loser, but he's a loser. He's a grifter. He pulled a publicity stunt. He had a shot to get back to the NFL. Pulled another publicity stunt with that one when he had a chance to work out for teams, but he was like, oh, no, I want to do it here. And he wanted teams to come there instead of him going to the teams or some stuff like that. And he blew it. And I haven't been keeping up too much with it, but when was the last time Colin Kaepernick tried to get back into the league?
It's been a few years.
I
saw some video of him throwing a bomb.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's when he had a chance to work out for NFL teams, and they wanted. And they
do you
wanted
even
him
hear
to go.
him wanting to get back? Then him talking about wanting to get back into it.
Not really.
Yeah,
but I'm never really been no Tim Tebow fan. But I'm like, good for Tim Tebow. Why not? He hasn't been completely out of touch with professional sports. He's been playing minor league baseball for the Mets organization. He hasn't played football since 2012. And the kicker to this is he's not playing quarterback. And if anybody, knows sports, he signed a 1-year contract to play tight end, which is basically like this is your one shot, kid.
I'm just wondering what kind of naked pictures he has of Urban Meyer's wife, because they got some kind of close connection. I mean, how bad are the Jaguars tight ends in general to where you can hire him, who hasn't been around this long?
Man, that's
you know what I mean?
That's if Urban Meyer wasn't the head coach.
Is he just going to be on the scout team, or
who knows? If Urban Meyer wasn't the head coach, he probably wouldn't be getting this shot.
No, he definitely wouldn't, because they go to church together or whatever.
Yeah, and again, like I say, he's playing tight end.
I think this is doomed to failure. I don't mean Tim Tebow. I mean the Urban Meyer Jaguar situation.
So let's dig into this article a little bit. Tim Tebow is coming back to the NFL after a 6-year hiatus. The Jaguars plan to sign a former NFL quarterback to a 1-year deal. As previously reported, Tim Tebow will play tight end for the Jaguars. Tebow, 33. That's not quite. That's a little up there in sports age, but still kind of prime.
If you've been playing since you was 23, 24, that would be high. But he hasn't been playing.
I mean,
like getting all those hits on you every.
True,
you know what I mean?
True. Baseball is pretty low impact. It's pro baseball, dude. Minor league baseball is pro baseball. But we'll come back
call
to
it whatever you want.
We'll come back to that. Tim Tebow worked out for Jaguars, and head coach Urban Meyer, who coached Tim Tebow during his record-setting run at University of Florida. Meyer clarified that he was not present at Tebow's workouts and that the Jaguars have yet to officially sign him. So it's not even official yet.
It'll be official to get them butts in the seats. You know that's what it's about.
You know what?
Dude, they're in Florida. He's from Florida. We're getting them butts.
Dude, I'm just ready for the backlash for when Tim Tebow kneels for the first time.
Woof.
It's going to be like,
But he's kneeling for Jesus, not for police brutality.
Politics.
That'll be the spin.
That's the difference. And I don't remember.
But what if he comes out and says I'm for BLM and then kneels?
Yeah, right. I don't. If I remember, I don't think Tim Tebow was kneeling during the national anthem, sitting on the bench and whatever. No, because that's how it started. It wasn't even a kneel. He just started off by sitting on the bench during the national anthem, which is almost worse than kneeling. Like he was sitting there on the bench like Willie Beeman eating a popsicle, reading a newspaper.
It looks like they got two rookies at tight end and another guy. So. Tight end can mean anything. You could be the fullback. You could be anything. It doesn't mean you're like the guy every down in the tight end set.
I don't think Tim got a complete fair shot because most of the coaches were saying we need a prototypical quarterback. And everybody knew he wasn't gonna,
Man, this is just a name to get the butts in the seats.
Yep.
If you expect him to score 3 touchdowns, you are like crazy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. They could go woke. They could go woke and be saying
they might cancel him.
Yeah,
because he's like all Christian and stuff.
Yeah, he can't cancel Jesus.
Pontius Pilate did.
He did. Like permanently.
At least the human body part of Jesus.
Until 3 days later.
Yeah, I know he rose. We all know the story.
Informative Reaction Podcast.
I mean, this is the champion of the snowflakes this week.
Snowflake of the week.
Dethroned King James.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
So our snowflake of the week for this installment is the professor from Cypress College. Now, if Cypress College isn't familiar to you, or if you're not familiar with this story, about a couple weeks ago, a Zoom class, a call from a Zoom class, a Zoom call from a college class went viral when...
Yeah, but it's California. You can't go in person.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though we have...
So this class call went viral when the student said that he thinks cops are heroes because they have a hard job and I think they deserve more respect. And the professor immediately jumped in and challenged him and debated with him about it. And she said one of the goofiest things when he pushed back on her, saying that she wouldn't call the police in the event of an emergency. Now, since this happened, she was at first suspended. She was like put on to leave with pay or something like that. And I said, I don't think they should have even done that. I don't think it called for her to face some administrative action. I didn't feel like her response was like administratively bad. It wasn't a good response, and I'm glad it went viral, and some attention should have been brought to it. But I didn't think it was like some sort of ethics infraction where it called for some administrative action. But that's just me. But
look how this article has framed it, and I'm sure everybody else has. Faculty members are urging administrators to publicly support a Muslim professor And then the next sentence down, the student who is white.
Said
like that's how they framed it. It's a race thing. It's an identity thing. It's not a what they're talking about thing.
Exactly. It don't got anything to do with race.
And
it doesn't have anything to do with race, man.
Imagine you couldn't see them.
Right.
But unfortunately you can, and that's how the quote-unquote news frames everything now. Ever since Biden got in office, I don't remember this in the last 4 years before now.
I mean, they was framing stuff like that, but it was usually.
Thing
I was just about to say it was usually only the cop stuff,
right?
But now it really is everything, like you said. A Muslim professor,
targeted.
A white student said this.
Targeted.
What about?
She was targeted.
She was not targeted.
That's what it says here.
Oh my God.
See, this...
I mean, but shoot, for good reason, the way that she reacted to this guy, it was not like a genuine, all right, I'm your professor, I'm gonna, on some devil advocate stuff, let me challenge you. Or even if it is how she feel, which is clear, is how she feel, she could have had a little bit more tact in how she responded. You know what I mean? She could have. Let's play a little bit of the video, in case you haven't heard it.
I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have that
all of
fine
them?
life. Oh, I'd say a good majority of them.
So,
well, just to be clear, she was. I guess she didn't specify, or they didn't specify their pronouns, so I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But it's an adjunct professor, and if you don't know what adjunct is, a thing added to something else as a supplementary rather than essential. So what I think she is like
basically part-time.
Oh yeah, exactly, or a substitute teacher, something of that nature.
Right.
Just in case you were curious.
I mean that adds a bit of context to this, and why she probably felt pretty cavalier in responding the way she did.
And it might be one of the reasons they let her go so quickly.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Exactly. Because if that was one of their staff...
Right.
Imagine
there'd probably been some union stuff or contractual stuff. So this is an adjunct professor, and they like, well, yeah, I'm going to need them TPS reports of her.
I just love it how they have a picture right here, and they say the student who is white. As if we couldn't look at that and tell.
The student who is white said police officers are heroes, and a professor appeared to disagree. She didn't appear. She vehemently disagreed. Their debate made national headlines after it was uploaded to the internet.
Where else would you upload it to?
Apparently without the professor's consent. Oh my God.
Oh, good Lord.
United Faculty stands in solidarity with all of our faculty in protecting their academic freedom and the right to a safe work environment, free of hostility and threats to their physical safety and emotional well-being. The district's full-time faculty union said in a statement last week, we request a strong, clear public statement in support of our faculty and their right to a safe workplace. Like I said, the way she immediately pushed back and was like, all of them? Like, he should have said, come on now, I'm not talking about...
There's no dialogue here. This is
exactly
like we're having a fight.
And she's not being realistic. She wasn't being realistic. All right, the guy said police are heroes. All of them? Now, of course, lady, I'm not talking about all of them, including the bad ones,
including Derek Chauvin,
right? The ones that get fired, the ones that get suspended, the ones that get arrested, the ones that get convicted. I'm not talking about them, lady. But hey, the guy that stopped a girl from being stabbed to death. Right. How about that one? All right. Or the lady that rushed a 4-year-old, and this happened in New York City over the past weekend. They actually caught this guy in Florida. The guy got to shooting in Times Square. He shot a tourist and shot a 4-year-old in the leg. The 4-year-old wasn't targeted. She just got hit. But a cop scooped her up.
That's a small target to hit a 4-year-old in the leg.
The female cop, it was a video of it. I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, what's happened? She just scooped her up and ran her to the ambulance.
Ambulance.
Ambulance. You know what I'm saying? How about that cop? Like, was that not a hero? That was a hero move. You scoop, oh, it's a little girl shot. Boom, ambulance. Like the professor, that was ridiculous, man. And I'm glad. I was impressed at how the student actually handled it.
Oh, he was great. Well spoken. He spoke his side.
He was
he
calm,
didn't get angry.
And there was another student who tried to chime in on the teacher's side. He actually like kicked it off. He threw a shot at him. He was like, he said something like, "Oh, no, I don't know, nothing unlike what Jason said," or something like that. He was white too.
You know, I don't know where she's from or her lineage or anything like that, but I wonder how she feels about the Sharia police. If they catch you drinking, they're going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to cut your head off or whatever else in Saudi Arabia. I wonder what she thinks about policing tactics there when she's not wearing the traditional garb that they...
Maybe
you know
she doesn't practice it that way.
I mean, but that's police as well.
I like when the student was like, if somebody is breaking into your house, who you going to call? I wouldn't call the police. He was like, really, professor?
That wasn't good. She was stuck.
He said, really? She was like, no.
What you gonna do? So you own
them.
guns? Is that what you're saying?
That's
a whole nother argument
ridiculous.
right there.
It made me think about this joke Chris Rock said in his special in Tambourine, I believe it was. He was like, shoot, somebody breaking into my house, I'm not calling the Crips. I mean, seriously though, man, this thing with the cops. Who said it? Tim Scott. Tim Scott, the only black Republican senator from South Carolina. He was like, "This defund the police is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life." I mean, people, you can honestly take serious somebody who is a proponent for some kind of prison reform, cop reform, police reform. Of course, you can have that conversation. But when somebody starts saying those buzzwords of defund the police, it's like I'm out. It's certain buzzwords that I hear when I'm having a conversation with somebody. It's like, all right, I know where you go. And I can't say that I'm immune to it. You know what I mean? Whatever, whatever side I might be debating or whatever, I might say certain buzzwords like when talking about crime, rise in homicides. Now that's a true stat, but it is somewhat of a talking point. You know what I mean? But the vocabulary
From the Reaction Podcast. 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 From the Reaction